Welcome to the channel. I want to talk about buying Bitcoin for cheap. This is a question. Welcome to the channel. So this is a question I get a lot. How do I buy Bitcoin for cheap? A lot of people interested in buying Bitcoin, but not really sure where to go. What are the trusted sources to get some? And how do they save the most on trading fees? So there are several considerations that you need to make when choosing a place to buy Bitcoin, things you need to think about that I want to walk through in this video. And I'm going to walk through a bunch of options for Americans, for US based people. And then in the future, I'll probably make videos for other areas. The places where you can buy Bitcoin are very region dependent because it depends on connecting to the legacy banking system. And connecting to that system requires a bunch of lawyers and regulatory work to comply with whatever that jurisdiction thinks about banking and how their banking system operates. So they're all very region dependent. So this video is going to focus on the US region and American customers. So the things you need to ask yourself before we move on in this video is really two questions that are going to change what exchanges and tools are best for you. The first question is, can I wait a few days to buy my Bitcoins? So this doesn't mean to receive your Bitcoins, it literally means to purchase them. So if you feel like I need to get in right now because the price is very low and I want to lock in my price, then maybe you can't wait a few days. If you can, there are some other options that open up for you. The second question you need to ask yourself is, do I understand order types and trading? So to get the cheapest fees, it's helpful to know how an exchange works and to know a little bit about trading and finance because you're able to use more advanced tools that offer cheaper fees to their users. So I'm going to talk about two main types of places you can buy Bitcoin. One is called a broker, the other is an exchange. A broker usually has a much easier interface and really anyone can do it. An exchange will have a little bit more of a learning curve, but usually has cheaper fees. So as far as brokers, the best broker that I can recommend for simple and affordable user experience is called Swan Bitcoin. It's at swanbitcoin.com. What Swan allows you to do is regularly purchase Bitcoin. So it's really a set it and forget it type of tool. You literally go through a form like you can see here, where you say how much you want to save in terms of dollars worth of Bitcoin every week or month or day using your bank account. The lowest fees that you can get here are 0.99% per buy, so about 1% per buy, which is pretty good compared to all the other options out there. And I'll repeat this, but there's a chart on my website at whatismoney.info/cheap that goes through all of the different options and their pricing structures. So check that out after the video if you're interested. Swan allows one-time buys as well as recurring buys. So this type of saving in Bitcoin to allow you to move your fiat money, which is constantly being debased by the government, into a much harder money like Bitcoin. If you use my referral code here, swanbitcoin.com/whatismoney, you'll get a $10 bonus, which is more than the usual $5 bonus for referral codes because I'm in the Swan affiliate program. As far as exchanges, this is more complex, as you can see from this picture, but it's also cheaper than all of the brokers out there. The one I would recommend for most US customers is called Kraken. It's at kraken.com. To really use this interface, you're going to need to know how trading interfaces work, how the trading ticket works, what an order type is, market versus limit order and whatnot. That'll just make it a lot easier. These things aren't super difficult to learn. It just is a bit of a learning curve, and you don't want to make a mistake if you're making a large purchase of Bitcoin, you've never done this before. It is easier to make a mistake than using a broker. One thing to note is that US clients must wire transfer funds into the exchange, which has some fee associated with it, If you're buying maybe $10 worth of Bitcoin, it's not worth it to wire. If you're buying thousands of Bitcoin and you want to make a big buy, then the wire transfer fee shouldn't be too much of an issue. People outside of the US, especially in Europe, have a very smooth experience depositing into Kraken. So it's a very good option actually for European customers. But the fees are unbelievably low. So Swan and most brokers are around 1 to 2% per purchase. A purchase using a limit order on Kraken can be as low as 0.16% fees. And that's if your trading volume is zero or above. If you're trading a lot, that fee goes down massively. But for these purposes, if you're just investing in Bitcoin, you want to buy a little bit, a couple $1,000s worth, you're still going to be in that 0.16% fee bucket, which is still very, very cheap. So a couple notes on completing a Bitcoin purchase. This is important to know because I've showed you where to buy, but there's a couple things you need to prepare when you're creating an account for any of these. It's not as simple as creating an account where you need an email address and a password. You do have to have some information on hand. So there's 4 things you really need to have. One is your bank account and routing numbers. Your bank account and routing numbers so that you can actually route the money into the exchange account or broker account so that they can purchase the Bitcoin for you. You'll need your ID, your driver's license or a passport, basically to confirm your identity, because these services are treated a lot like a bank is. So to open an account, the service needs to know who you are just to comply with regulations, especially in the US. The third is your phone or a camera. You may need to take a selfie of yourself holding your ID or holding some piece of paper that says, this is me and I want to open an account with this broker or exchange. Sometimes that's required. And then just a pen and a piece of paper for signing your name or writing some message in that image. And you may just want to write down other pieces of information like your password and whatnot. The 5th thing you may want to have is a Bitcoin wallet on your phone or a dedicated hardware wallet. You can buy one at called a Trezor or a Ledger or a KeepKey. There's a couple of them out there. You may want to have this once your Bitcoin is purchased so that you can remove it from the exchange and hold it yourself. So one of the big benefits of Bitcoin is you don't need to trust a third party to hold it. Today, we think a lot that third parties are very trusted, especially in the United States. We trust our banks. We don't think that the money is going to be gone. But a lot of people don't have this luxury, and actually the people in the United States haven't always had this luxury. We've just, in the last 70 years or so, we've had fairly stable banking institutions and never had much of a worry about our money disappearing overnight from the bank. But this has had precedence in a lot of places of people getting their bank account called a haircut, where money is just removed from your bank account. So I recommend that you move your Bitcoin off of the exchange and onto a wallet that you own. And that's very much like taking cash out of the bank and holding it yourself, except it's a lot safer because you can have a PIN and a passcode on it. So it's kind of like having a vault that can't be moved and can't be opened. Even if someone breaks into your house, they won't be able to get your Bitcoin the same way that they could get cash out of a mattress. And you're safe from basically every hack in history that has happened to Bitcoin. They've all been to exchanges, not to individual people. So if you have it on your wallet, you're a lot less likely to have Bitcoin stolen. You're much more likely to have cash out of your wallet stolen or even out of your bank stolen than out of your Bitcoin wallet. So after purchasing Bitcoin, this is what I was just talking about. You should withdraw your Bitcoin to a wallet on your phone or a dedicated hardware wallet. Really important step. So another question I get asked a lot as soon as I explain to people how they can buy Bitcoin is whether they should buy other cryptocurrencies. So a lot of these exchanges will offer other places to, or will offer other cryptocurrencies that people can buy. What I would say to this is just like you should avoid buying fake gold at a jewelry shop or a gold store, you should avoid buying fake Bitcoin at an exchange. And other cryptocurrencies, for our purposes, are really just fake Bitcoin. Sure, some of them may have other uses that you may have heard about, but really, if you're trying to buy Bitcoin to save wealth, then there's no other option. You shouldn't be buying Ethereum or XRP or Verge or any of these random cryptocurrencies. Just stick to Bitcoin. So as I mentioned earlier, there's a resources page on my website that walks through the entire fee structure of all the different options. So there's several that I didn't talk about here, like Cash App and Coinbase and Gemini that you may have heard of. I walk through the pricing structures for all of those. That's all at whatismoney.info/cheap. So go check that out if you're interested in just more resources and understanding all the different options, since I only really talked about the preferred top two, the best broker and the best exchange that I believe in. So check that out if you want to just see the full breakdown. Thanks, guys. Thanks, and good luck buying your first Bitcoin.